want to post about how great this coffee is, but I can't think of a funny way to say it.
This post is like a page long. How do I shorten this?
Just take out all the vowels.
No.
Seriously.
It'll still be like
Seriously.
a page.
Dude, you gonna eat those or just take pictures?
Who's the cutest baby on the internet?
Is this guy always on vacation?
Costa Rica vacay.
Did you just like my post about my uncle dying?
Office pic.
No.
Hold still, hold still. I'm vining you.
Why are you Instagramming lamps?
How did he get so many followers? He's a dentist.
Hey guys, you on Twitter? Follow me. We just got 2 retweets.
Sometimes I want to move to another country where I wouldn't have to deal with this stuff.
Isso faz parecer que eu tô me achando?
Hashtag photo of the day.
Hashtag I quit. Just kidding.
Hashtag multitasking.
Hashtag squirm worm.
Hashtag road trip dudes. Not while you're driving, man.
Hashtag YOLOY.
Is anybody even gonna read this?
Besties.
Coffee friends.
Mini bagels.
Unsubscribe.
What's up, Facebook?
Oh, look at my new shoes. Unfollow.
I love coffee.
We're going
I
viral.
don't care about your dog. I don't care about your lunch.
New Archie.
Nobody cares about your tree pics.
Driving selfie.
Glaciers.
Desert.
Third world.
Nobody cares.
I'm gonna hide all of you.
Just a moment ago, my daughter Rebecca texted me for good luck. Her text said, "Mom, you will rock." I love this. Getting that text, it was like getting a hug. And so there you have it. I embody the central paradox. I'm a woman who loves getting texts, who's going to tell you that too many of them can be a problem. As a psychologist, what excited me most was the idea that we would use what we learned in the virtual world about ourselves, about our identity, to live better lives in the real world. Some of the things we do now with our devices are things that only a few years ago we would have found odd or disturbing, but they've quickly come to seem familiar, just how we do things. So just to take some quick examples, people text or do email during corporate board meetings. They text and shop and go on Facebook during classes, during presentations, actually during all meetings. Parents text and do email at breakfast and at dinner while their children complain about not having their parents' full attention, but then these same children deny each other their full attention. Across the generations, I see that people can't get enough of each other if and only if they can have each other at a distance in amounts they can control.
I think we've all seen this by now, maybe even been a little guilty of it ourselves. I see families like this out to dinner all the time, and it drives me nuts. And I see couples on dates, clearly together, but on their cell phones. It's one of the strangest things I've ever seen. But to me, what does this say when we are together? To me, it says that there's someone, anyone, on the other end of this screen that's way more important than you, who's right in front of my face.
People want to be with each other, but also elsewhere, connected to all the different places they want to be. People want to customize their lives. They want to go in and out of all the places they are, because the thing that matters most to them is control over where they put their attention.
There's all this emotional turmoil and strife going on with our number of likes somehow equaling our self-esteem. We are all our own public relations firms, always trying to figure out how we can increase our numbers. Work sometimes demands that from us as well. Certainly, we do that a lot in our personal life. You know, we wait until 5 o'clock before we post our Instagram pictures, because that's when we know all of our friends are out and we'll get the most traffic. So for some reason now, we're all supposed to know about each other's lives because they posted it on Facebook. And I don't know that you climbed Mount Kilimanjaro. You didn't tell me last week when we were at brunch. And what do we present really when we are on Facebook? We present an idyllic life, perfect parenting, great relationships. We hardly ever give any bad news or copy about ourselves because that doesn't make for a lot of likes.
And then this, shoulders back, head up, the phone went up, the head tilted, the smile, the selfie, right? This big smile. I thought, Jesus, you weren't like that 2 seconds ago. The phone came down, the smile disappeared. Another perfect example of the superficial image that she was portraying to her friends on Snapchat or whatever channel she wanted to send it on.
Texting, email, posting, all of these things let us present the self as we want to be. We get to edit, and that means we get to delete. And that means we get to retouch the face, the voice, the flesh, the body. Not too little, not too much, just right. Human relationships are rich, and they're messy, and they're demanding. And we clean them up with technology. And when we do, one of the things that can happen is that we sacrifice conversation for mere connection. Let's talk about how we can use digital technology, the technology of our dreams, to make this life the life we can love.
Let's get real about this. Connection is what humans crave. It's what we are all about. It's something that separates us from animals. It even comes before the fact that we have language, because the language is an example of a, if you like, a neural technology we have created to answer this need for connection. We are constantly in need of connecting with people for friendship, love, sex, knowledge, growth, enmity, territoriality, all the imperatives that drive us as human beings. And we've created villages and towns to help us do that, and roads, and now we've created something else that allows us to do it even more. Where people make their fundamental error, who criticize all this and think it's a danger and that it's reducing our capacity to act as proper human beings, is they think it's all this. You either sit in front of a screen of some kind, or tapping away all your life, going lol, and being childish and not writing in proper English sentences, or you sit in an old-fashioned study with books and you read properly and you engage properly and you go for walks. Well, I do both, and most people do both. It is not one or the other.
I think we're at the point in history now where more people are living in cities than are not living in cities, and you can have communities in London and New York, these places that a lot of people characterize as being big, soulless, heartless places where nobody knows each other. Sounds like the internet, doesn't it? But you find a block, you find a pub, you find a place where people have real connection with each other. So I don't think we should be so quick to judge what's a real community and what's not. We need to look at the reality and the authenticity of the relationships. There have been many instances in which there are people, for different reasons, they're sick, or they're in a scary part of town where they don't want to leave their apartment at night, or maybe they're older and they don't get around that much, or like myself and many others, I work at home. Where am I going to get my relationships? Am I go to a bar or a coffee house, or do I log on online?
And that is the dimension that we're exploring now. That has not really been possible before. It's not been possible to have 100 friends dedicated to one really obscure little fascination. And now that's everyday occurrence. And so for many people, this kind of new club, this kind of bowling, is really a revelation and a great gift. I think one of the things that the web is doing, the kind of glue that it's brought to us that we haven't had before, is the glue of obsession, the glue of fascination, the glue of passion about something in particular. And so I think people who maybe before were lost or felt alone in their own little interests, now are able to really connect with people who share what they share, this fascination with something in particular. And that particularness has been amplified and magnified. And that is the glue that I think brings a lot of people together that was not present before.
We're trying to explore and figure out with our electronic communications, we're trying to add nuance, subtlety, things that we don't have right now in email and IM. And that's what we're seeing, not just with Twitter, but all over the web. All this great stuff that's emerging in social media is people trying to find new, interesting ways to communicate, become more efficient, become more engaged, become more informed. And I think it leads ultimately to having more empathy, to understanding more about what other people are, what's happening with other people, and sort of putting yourself in their shoes more often.
Not everybody has that kind of old village, small town, everybody knows your name, physical community. Your next door neighbor is not necessarily the person that you are going to make a connection with. In fact, the person you make a connection with might be on the other side of the world.
I have made quite a lot of online friends. I don't even know what gender some of them are. They're people I chat with, either personal direct messaging in forums and Twitter and so on. Some of whom I think are very young, and you can sort of tell they are, and who astonish me occasionally with their knowledge.
The real world contact is important, and school and work and social life and hobbies are still going to be the main way people meet each other, but it can turn a chance meeting into a relationship.
The web is so much bigger than just business, making money, and governing. It is really culture at large. It's a new form of culture, and the culture will range from playfulness and inefficiency and just playing around to the most serious accomplishments and achievements of humanity. So it has the full range, and I think we should embrace that, the fact that it can be trivial, that the web can be a waste of time, that it can be nonsense, and at the same time, it's probably the greatest thing that we've ever done.
We can use social media to create positive face-to-face groups and organizations and meeting places like we have tonight. Not hashtag activism, but people activism.
Technology is making a bid to redefine human connection, how we care for each other, how we care for ourselves, but it's also giving us the opportunity to affirm our values and our direction. Now, we all need to focus on the many, many ways technology can lead us back to our real lives, our own bodies, our own communities, our own politics, our own planet.